Would you be able to tell us a little more about your background?
Thanks, Ed. I grew up just outside Birmingham in the West Midlands, and I attended my local primary school. And it was there that my Year 6 teacher, Mrs. Tandy, encouraged my mum to put me forward to for the entrance exam to a school called King Edward's in Birmingham, a school very much like QEGS, a boys' day school in the city. And from there, I did well. I was only able to go there because I had a full fees bursary. My family had never done A-levels, let alone gone to university, and my family income couldn't support a place at that school without their support. And from there, I was fortunate enough to go to Oxford to read chemistry.
What inspired you to get in a career in teaching?
Well, when I was doing my PhD, I did my PhD after I'd finished my chemistry degree at Oxford. I was about halfway through that, and I'd got no results to speak of, nothing that would end up being in my final thesis. And I realised that the teaching that I was doing of the undergraduates was much more rewarding to me than the research. And so I decided at that point that a career in teaching was attractive and what I wanted to do. But I was helped by reflecting on the great quality teaching that I had received. I particularly remember one English teacher in Year 9 who made English come to life and expressed to me made me believe in the value of communication, because I'd hated English and I'd hated reading before that. And so those memories reminded me what the power of a good teacher was.
Outside of work, what interests you?
I'm a great fan of the outdoors. My wife Emma and I love walking in particular. When I get a bit of time, I like to go cycling. I'm a big fan of sports. I used to play a lot of rugby. Injuries prevent that now. And I think apart from that, I relax by reading, particularly crime thrillers.
How are you finding life in God's own county, Yorkshire?
Well, as I said, we love the outdoors, and a big reason for coming to QEGS was the proximity of the Dales, the Moors, the Peak District, even the Lake District and the coast. And so that's what we've been doing since we moved up to Yorkshire in the summer, last summer. We've been visiting a lot of those places. Closer to home, again, walking in Nostell Priory or around New Miller Dam or Anglers Country Park. We have a 19-month-old daughter, Lucy, and she loves the outdoors too. She loves being outside, and we're introducing her to all of these places.
Why have you opted to become head of an all-boys school?
Well, my own experience, Ed, was of going to, as I said before, going to a boys' school like this. And then I've had the fortune in my teaching career to teach at 4 really great boys' schools. So all of my teaching career is in boys' schools. But QEGS is an interesting proposition because it's part of the foundation. So it gives the advantages of a single-sex education, a boys-only education, one that I'm familiar with, but with the opportunities to work with the girls at the high school and with the younger pupils in the pre-prep school for the benefit of all of them.
What is your vision for the school?
I want QEGS to be a school where every pupil can realise their own ambitions, that they can grow into young men who are ready to take their place in the world, to contribute to society at large, and who have worked out who they are.
What do you want your legacy to be at this school?
Well, I think if I can deliver on that vision, I'll be pretty happy with the legacy that I leave behind, because it's, as I say, it's about boys, producing boys who are able to make something good of their lives for themselves and for the communities that they live in. And that the legacy for me is about outcomes for pupils rather than about the buildings.
What has been your most memorable moment at QEGS so far?
I think it was the Year 7 residential during the autumn term in the Lake District. It was a great opportunity for those boys, many of whom were new to the school, to come together. And it was an opportunity actually that had been taken away from a number of boys during the pandemic. And I visited, and one particular moment stood out. It was dusk, and I was on the edge of the Windermere, looking out to the lake with the boys behind me. And it was so peaceful and calm, and there was such a sense of shared purpose amongst the boys. It was just fantastic.
What about QEGS so far has both impressed and surprised you?
That's a good one. I think what's impressed me most has been the sense of shared purpose amongst the boys and the staff. The boys enjoy being at school and they are enthusiastic about their time here, and so too are the staff. They want to work with the boys to help the boys grow into impressive young men, and everybody shares, as I say, that sense of belonging and purpose. I think what has surprised me has been how calm and secluded the environment of QEGS can be, even within the heart of the busy city with the main road running past. Once you step through the gates, you are in a very secluded environment.
Boys in junior school get to do a lot of exciting things both inside and outside of the classroom. What would 8-year-old Dr. Brookes have enjoyed the most about the junior school here?
I think when I was 8, I enjoyed solving maths problems and building things out of Lego. And I think you can do both of those at the junior school. I think, as I said before in one of my earlier questions, that I was not a great fan of reading until I got to senior section. And I think in the junior section, we have staff who work with the boys to impress upon them the enjoyment of reading. And I think I'd have liked that, something that I didn't have as an 8-year-old. And I think actually the chance to do all the different subjects that we offer and to get outside and to make friendships is what's special about the junior section, and I'd have loved that too.
Do you know the words to the school song yet, sir?
That's a tricky one, and you've caught me on a bad day of remembering the school song. I do remember the two most important words, and that's Florius Wakefieldia.
If an old Sav were to come back and visit the school now, how would it have changed since their time here?
Well, I think I'm just learning about that as I speak to some of the old Savs right now. I think in many ways the school now would be very similar to the school that an old Sav of 10 or 20 or 30 years ago attended. Certainly as they walk around the campus they would see a lot that is the same. But I think what might have changed is the way schools like QEGS and schools like QEGS are looking to use their facilities, their staffing resource, the pupils, to reach out into society and to form partnerships with other schools and organisations beyond the school gate for the benefit of those organisations, but also to help our pupils develop awareness and understanding and skills so that they can go on to contribute to and lead those communities in the years ahead. What
does membership to the Old Savs offer me?
Becoming an Old Sav means that you have lifelong membership of a community of boys like you who went to this school. And that means you have that shared reminiscences of your time at school and those friendships that last for a lifetime. But more importantly than that, it gives you a connection with people who have gone there before, perhaps in careers, who could give you that advice, give you that mentoring, and put you in touch with other people who might be able to create opportunities for you. And I would hope too that being a member of the Old Civilians, you will be able to support the current pupils too, through the benefit of your own wisdom or your own time, your volunteering, or perhaps even through financial support to enable boys to come to the school who would not otherwise have the opportunity to do so.
What events does the Old Savs run that may be of interest to me?
Well, I think there are 3 main dinners throughout the year that give you a chance to get in touch with fellow Old Civilians. The London dinner in the autumn term, and the Old Savs dinner back here at school just before Christmas, and the Cambridge dinner normally in the spring term. Beyond that, we are looking to organise year group or decade reunions back at the school when the pandemic allows. Beyond that, we are very keen to hear from Old Civilians as to the kinds of events that they would like us to run on their behalf. Also, Old Savs do come and visit the school from time to time just to check in with their former teachers and to share news about their lives, but also to give careers talks or to speak at speech day and to show the pupils what they might become in the future.
Sum up the QEGS experience in 3 words.
The 3 words that spring to mind after my term and a bit here are welcoming, inclusive and aspirational. both I and Emma, my wife, have been made to feel very welcome since we've joined the QEGS community, and indeed made to feel welcome in Yorkshire more widely. QEGS is a school that is inclusive. There's a very diverse range of pupils at the school in terms of their backgrounds, in terms of their inclinations, in terms of their hopes and dreams. And then aspirational, because we do have boys who are working hard to get to where they want to go, who are open-minded about the future, and we have staff who are, again, working hard to help them live out their hopes and dreams.
What do you hope for our students now and in the future?
I hope each boy at QEGS is given the opportunity or the range of opportunities to work out who they are. I'm sometimes asked what a typical QEGS boy is like, and I don't want there to be an answer to that question. There are nearly 900 boys in this school, and I want there to be 900 separate answers to that question. But each boy needs to have the teaching that enables him to do as well as he can in his academic subjects, so that he has options for the future, for university and beyond. But he also needs this time and space and the relationships with others, with boys and with staff, to help him work out what kind of boy he is and how he is going to interact with the world around him and take his place in that world.